So let us discuss few points before about waves. So waves are generally shown like this. Okay. So this x-axis is the time axis and the y-axis is the displacement. Y-axis is the displacement. So this wave started at t is equal to 0. This top point is called crest and these bottom points are called trough. So the distance between two consecutive crest is called wavelength, and the units are meters. Now you see the points. Let us say this point is A, this point is B, this point is C, D and E. A, B, C, D, E is called one cycle. Obviously it took some time, so that time is called time period. Time period for completing one cycle. So there is another term called frequency. Frequency is equal to 1 divided by t. Okay, frequency is measured in hertz or cycles per second. Frequency is measured in hertz or cycle per second. You can understand this with an example like this. There is a pendulum bob released here. This is a mean position. This bob came up to here, turned. Okay, let us say it started here, A, B, C, D, E. One cycle completed. It is like that. So basically we have discussed about waves, that let us say you throw a stone in the pond and it is thrown over here. It creates waves in all directions. What is a wave? Wave basically is a distance. Wave is a disturbance. So obviously when you throw the stone over here, it created a disturbance. So you consider a line here. Along the line will be disturbed. They may not be disturbed equally, but they will be disturbed. So they will displace from their positions. They will displace from their positions. This is how it is. So you can see different points. There is in a different. Okay. Some, this is y1, this is y2, this is y3, like that. Similarly in the negative direction also, some points are going up, some points are going down. Okay, some points you can consider positive displacement, some points you can consider negative displacement. Now out of these displacements, there will be a particular displacement which will be maximum. Okay, there will be a particular displacement which will be maximum. Now this is called, it is denoted by A, and it is called amplitude. It is called amplitude. So generally the general equation of a wave, you can see this diagram, that this particular wave is sinusoidal in nature. This particular wave is sinusoidal because it is starting from 0. So this wave is sinusoidal in nature. So the general equation for a wave is y is equal to a sine kx minus omega t. This is the general equation of a wave. What is the maximum value of sine? Sine value varies between 0 to 1. Okay, in fact minus 1 to 1. Okay, so this maximum value is 1. So y max will become a, which is the amplitude. Okay, now this k is called wave number, and the formula is 2 pi by lambda. K is called the wave number, and the formula to find out is wave number 2 pi by lambda. Omega is the angular speed measured in radians per second. Okay, so this is the general equation. Now there can be a situation, see, our wave started from here, but there can be a situation where the wave could have started from here also, some other wave. Okay, the wave can start from here also. Okay, so this small gap what you are seeing, here is the phase difference. Both waves didn't start at the same time, dotted one is another wave and the continuous one is another wave. There is some phase differences there. If both have started from the same point, so at the same time, then there is no phase difference. Then you say that both waves are coherent. So coherent wave will be something like this. Okay, let us say there is one wave like this, and there is another wave which is like this. Okay, another wave. See this point, every point, the amplitudes are different, but both are moving in a similar fashion. So this wave is wave 1 and this is wave 2. Okay, so this type of wave is called coherent wave. It's called principle of superposition. Okay, now when do we use this principle? Means, let us say there is a source S1 here and there is a source S2 here. A wave is created by S1 and a wave is created by S2, and they meet at P. Okay, so S1 is creating one wave and that wave is given by y1 is equal to, let us say, a1 into sine kx minus omega. Okay, this is wave created by, and y2 is equal to, in a similar way, let us say y2 is equal to a2 sine kx minus omega t with some phase difference, let us say. This is wave created by S2. Now at this point P is receiving both waves. P is receiving both waves. Then the question arises, how to add them. We follow this principle. In this, what we do is, what are we supposed to add? We have to add the parameters, and here the parameters are displacement. So we add the displacements. We say that the total displacement is actually the individual displacements created by the individual waves. Y1, Y2, Y1 is the displacement created by the first wave, This is the source which created this wave. Y2 is the displacement created because of wave created by S2. You add these two, you get the total displacement. This is the concept of principle of superposition, and the result won't be affected. Okay, so when you add these two, you get the combined amplitude by this formula. Combined amplitude is equal to A is equal to A1 square plus A2 square plus 2A1 2 cos phi. Okay, so this is the principle behind the superposition. Then there is another term called intensity of wave. Intensity, it is given by I is equal to half rho omega square A square V. Here everything is constant, so you say that I except amplitude. Amplitude is changing, so I is proportional to amplitude square. You have to remember this. Okay, now this parameter is called intensity of wave. So principle of wave we have discussed. So here this is the total amplitude. Okay, now this formula looks something similar to that parallelogram law, isn't it? In that parallelogram law we have found out the resultant angle also. Remember, when there is a vector like this, there is another vector like this, then this is the parallelogram we constructed, and we finally calculated the angle theta, resultant angle theta. This is the resultant, this is F1 force, this is F2 force, this is the resultant force making some angle theta. So here similarly in the case of amplitudes, even though amplitudes are not to be treated as vectors, but you can, the formula is little similar. Here also tan theta will be equal to A2 sin phi divided by A1 plus A2 cos phi. We are assuming here that A1 A2 are mutually making an angle of phi. So this is the resultant you have found out. This is the A, this is the resultant A. Okay, like what we have done in the case of forces, here we are doing in the case of amplitudes. Okay, so remember these three formulas. So here one more important point is that when you consider A1 is equal to A2 equal to A0. So when you put it in the equation of intensity here, A1 is equal to A2 is equal to A0, then you finally, when you solve it, you get the expression I is equal to 4I0 cos square phi by 2. So this is another useful result which you can remember. Generally you should remember this equation, and here when we try to find out the resultant intensity, in the place of A you are supposed to write I. So resultant intensity, there will be intensity of wave 1, there will be intensity due to wave 2. So the resultant intensity will be similar to that parallelogram equation, I1 square plus I2 square plus 2I1 I2 cos phi. So a special case where A1 is equal to A2 is equal to A0, you finally get this result. So remember it. These are some of the basics. Make a note. This is water. Okay. This is water. Now taking two sticks, a disturbance is created, because of which there is a, let us say this is the first source, this is the second source where the disturbance is created, and this is another point P. Now because of this disturbance, a wave, both waves reach at the same time at P. Both waves reach at the same time at P. Then both waves are coherent. Okay. Now if you see here that there is no phase difference. So there is no phase difference at S when some wave travels starts, and S2 there is a wave, and both are reaching P at the same time. So they are coherent. They are coherent. In the second diagram, so there is a wave 1, there is a wave 2. So we are adding them using the principle of superposition. You can see this pattern will be like this. Here the continuous lines, such as these continuous lines, you can call it as crest, and these are troughs. You know, their superposition has been plotted over here. This diagram is the, by using the principle of superposition, you have added the displacements, let us see, and that pattern has been plotted over here. And in this pattern, just for identification, we are saying the continuous lines are crest and the dotted lines are troughs. So how do we add two coherent waves? Means we will use the concept of principle of superposition. So principle of superposition, how we use that, we will see in the next video. But these basics you should understand: the principle of superposition, what is an intensity of wave. Here you should remember that I is proportional to a square, how to find the resultant amplitude, and when a particular case is there, let us say a1 is equal to a2 is equal to a0, what is the total intensity.